Scott, what happened? Why are you in jail?
The FBI thinks that I kidnapped Serena.
What?
They cooked up some kind of a scheme to get her money.
That's insane. Why would you kidnap your own daughter?
I don't know. I don't need to tell that to these numbskulls.
Well, what about Serena? Where is she? Who's taking care of her?
Oh, she's with a welfare worker right now.
Oh, no.
Until they can interview Gail.
Well, you know, they are professionals. They know what they're doing. They'll take good care of her.
No, these are strangers to Serena. I mean, imagine what that kid is going through right now.
All right, calm down.
No, I can't calm down. I gotta get out of here so that I can fight this thing.
You understand the purpose of this interview?
Of course, you need to be sure that my husband and I can provide a good environment for Serena. My husband, Lee, would be here right now with me, but he was called out of town.
Well, then, with that in mind...
Excuse me, I hate to interrupt, but there's a little girl with Kevin in that other room over there, and she is asking for her daddy over and over and over again.
I'm as aware of the child's state as you are.
No, I don't think you are, because if you were, you would get this ridiculous charade over and just let her go home with her grandmother now.
Well, we've all heard Dr. Boardman's views on Dr. Harmon's request to assist in the OR. We've also heard from the doctors that Matt has worked with during his internship here at General Hospital.
Son, I'm not going to mince any words. You're in a wheelchair.
Yes, I am. If I weren't, I wouldn't have to appear before this board.
But there never has been a handicapped surgeon at General Hospital.
Perhaps it's time they corrected that oversight.
But to try and even do that would cost money, open the hospital to potential liability, and very possibly endanger patients. So why should we approve your request?
Come here. Sooner or later, they'll realize your call was bogus.
Oh, as long as it's later, I don't care.
Let me go, please. I'll get you help. I promise I won't press charges.
Oh, you may not, but they will. There's other things that they can nail me for. Things like what I had to do to escape the asylum. So get real. Letting you go is completely out of the question.
Then what are you going to do with me?
I don't know! This is all your fault. Huh? I didn't want to bring you home, but you recognized me. This is all your fault. You got yourself into this mess. And now I am very, very angry with you. Along and interrupted me. I was having so much fun sabotaging those interns. Karen almost killed Kevin. Bimbo alert. Oh man, I wish I could have seen Chris's face when those files fell out of his locker.
You did that?
Of course. He thinks that he's so clever. But he's not smarter than I am. I was just setting up Eve as a thief, and you had to get in my way. You know, out of that whole bunch, you're the only one who's actually nice. And pretty, too. But you're a problem. What the hell am I gonna do with you?
Let me go.
Oh, get real.
You could. I mean, everyone thinks you're dead. You could start a new life. You could go to another country and practice medicine.
I am not in the business of saving lives anymore. I'm a problem solver now. Audrey and Falk were problems. So I knocked out Audrey and killed Falk. Problem solved. I needed somebody to take my place at Forest Hills, and I chose Father Wasaki. So here I am, stuck with the problem of Julie. I'll have to give it some thought. Don't go anywhere. I will get out of here. I will. Frank, come get me out of here. Please.
Oh, come on. You gotta get me out of here.
I will.
When? My daughter is with some stranger now. When can I see her?
Gail's petition for temporary custody. When social services investigates, they'll release Serena to Lucy and her.
It won't take long.
Long? Do you have any idea what time is to a 6-year-old? I mean, this whole thing is taking an eternity.
Scott, you're going to have to be patient. Now, your current predicament is temporary. Let's try not to make it permanent.
I can't be patient, all right? Now, I want to know what evidence the FBI has on me, where they got it, what they've got.
Why don't we bring in Mac to investigate?
It's a good idea, Scott.
Anything.
I'll call him. Hang in there.
Hang in there. What choice do I have?
Scott, you gotta listen to justice. You gotta give it some time, you know?
I haven't got time!
Scott, you are an attorney. You know full well that if you display this kind of emotion in front of the judge, you are not going to get bail.
Oh, really? You don't think a good display of anger is going to show the judge what a swell father I am?
Scott, what have you always told me, huh? The Baldwin genes always pop out at the wrong time? You gotta keep your temper in check. For Serena's sake, you gotta calm down.
I can't calm down. I'm being framed for kidnapping Serena, you know? She's been taken away from me. How do you expect me to just calm down?
I expect you to calm down for Serena's sake. If you want to get out of here, and if you want to find out who set you up.
Baldwin walked right into my trap, and it snapped shut around him.
That poor man.
Oh, save your sympathy. I have something even nastier in store for him. Or rather, you do.
Me?
Yes, now that Scott's been arrested for kidnapping Serena, he presents a clear danger to that child. No family court in this country will let such an unfit parent continue to terrorize my niece and your daughter. So therefore, you and I are going to file for custody of Serena.
I have spent considerable time in various medical facilities during the recovery period from my accident and the prolonged rehabilitation periods that followed. I studied the people who were making me well and soon became fascinated with medicine and the utter joy of being a healer. This enthusiasm has continued to grow throughout my medical school education and well into my internship. I've looked forward to each rotation, but especially surgery.
That's all well and good, but let's get back to my earlier question. The problems of liability the hospital will face if you are allowed to operate on patients.
I have spoken to other hospitals that have employed doctors with a disability like mine, and I was very pleased to learn that the insurance costs for both the physician and the hospital were not appreciably different than those doctors without a disability.
You obviously can't move very rapidly from one side of the table to the other and with any degree of facility.
But how often are surgeons required to rush across the operating room?
But there are physical obstacles here. For instance, how long can you stand with this chairlift thing?
For hours. The apparatus itself is very strong and built to support me for a protracted period. Also, before my accident, I was an athlete. I still am an athlete. My upper body is very, very strong. I have excellent hand-eye coordination, and as far as stamina goes, I can't be beat. All of which contribute to very steady hands. It's a great combination for a surgeon, don't you think?
Oh, come on, Mac, come on, listen, you gotta focus on Rex Stanton.
We'll get to Rex Stanton, Scotty. Don't worry, we'll interview him. But we don't want to limit the investigation to one person, all right?
Well,
that way we might miss something important.
Well, let me just tell you something. All of this mess started happening the minute he showed up in this town.
But we don't have proof of that.
Well, find it!
Time for your arraignment, Mr. Baldwin.
Oh, come away, you kidding with these handcuffs.
Is that really necessary?
It's procedure.
Save it. Save the fight for Serena.
Grandma, Lucy! Oh, Serena.
Come here, you. Listen, everything is going to be all right. Do you hear me? Everything's going to be just fine.
Dr. Baldwin, we've decided you may keep Serena temporarily.
Oh, thank you.
Temporarily? What kind of nonsense is that?
Pending further evaluation.
Well, that's ridiculous. Dr. Baldwin is the best grandmother I know. She and Lee are the best people in town. I mean, everybody knows that in the community.
Where's my daddy?
Well, Serena, he's just got to do something right now. He's a little busy taking care of something. In the meantime, Grandma and Lucy, we're going to take care of you, okay?
Thank God Serena still looks good despite this ordeal.
Serena happens to be just fine.
What kind of father would kidnap his own child?
But Daddy didn't take me.
I know that, sweetie. How dare you? We're going to prove your daddy's innocent. Don't you worry. That was a horrible, dreadful thing to say.
I'm sorry, I was...
No, not another word. Gail, could you please take Serena home?
Yes, of course, Izzy. Come on, honey, we're going home.
I'll see you later, okay?
Bye, Lucy.
Bye-bye, sweetheart. And don't you worry about a thing. We're all going to take very good care of you.
He is innocent, and you know that. And we're going to prove it.
Well, I sincerely hope so.
Scott?
What are you doing here?
No, Scott.
Scott, we're family. I merely came down here to see if I could be some assistance.
You listen to me, Stan. You stay away from me, and you stay the hell away from my daughter!
Scott!
All right.
Come along, sir.
What are they doing here? They come here to gloat?
Listen, let's just forget about them, shall we, for a minute, and concentrate on Serena and getting you home.
All rise for the Honorable Judge George Fowler.
You may be seated. We are on the record for the arraignment of Scott Baldwin.
Hey. Is it over?
Just about.
How did it go?
Well, Matt was very eloquent, but there's no telling how the board will rule. We'll just have to wait and see.
This is your afternoon off, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So why are you spending it here?
I'm his supervisor, and I would hate to lose a good intern in the OR.
Hey, any news from Matt?
No, not yet.
Well, you keep me posted.
Yeah, will do.
Dr. Burgess, have you seen Julie? I know she's not on call, but I thought she might have come by here.
Not since I've been here.
This isn't like her. I wonder where she went.
Okay. Calm down and think. Think.
Lunchtime! Or is it supper? Or does it even matter? It's all the same when you're locked up in a dark, dank cellar. Isn't that right, Dr. Morris? Or do you prefer Dr. Devlin?
I prefer you let me go.
I can't do that.
I can't eat with my hands cuffed like this.
I'll feed you.
Like a baby? Please.
Beat starving.
I'll go hungry. Thanks.
All right. I'll give you one free hand. Come here. Come here. You want one free hand? Come here. Come here. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Get used to it.
Your Honor, I respectfully recommend that Mr. Baldwin be held indefinitely without bail. He's a serious flight risk with a fortune in offshore accounts and an established home abroad.
Your Honor, simply not true. Charges are false. Mr. Baldwin is looking forward to staying in Port Charles and defending his good name. Mr. Baldwin also has strong ties to the community, namely his parents and his daughter. Since the death of his wife, being a parent has been paramount in his life. And we ask that you allow this man to go home and be with his daughter.
Come along, Danielle. It's time for me to pound a few more nails into Mr. Baldwin's coffin.
Will the defendant please rise? Having taken into account the evidence and arguments of both sides, the court is ready to decide whether or not to grant you bail pending the grand jury's recommendation.
Hey.
Hey.
How'd it go? Well, they were asking me some pretty tough questions. I was feeling the heat at the end.
Do you think you convinced them?
I honestly don't know. I guess we'll have to wait until tomorrow when they return with their decision.
I think the Port Charles Herald is an exceptional publication.
We can hold our own against any paper in a city of comparable size in the entire country. And our local news is the best.
That's why I called. Your care and concern for the values of this community is obvious. And as Serena Baldwin's great uncle, I am gravely concerned about the charges brought against her father.
Yes, I was shocked by the story.
When I first came to this town, I was warned about the kind of man he was, his rather sordid past, the drugs, embezzlement, disbarment.
He was also a suspect in several murder cases.
And now he kidnaps his own daughter to get at her fortune. I mean, that just makes my blood boil.
I have very strong feelings about the treatment of children. I did a 3-part story last year on child abandonment.
I, for one, have always said, if we cannot protect the smallest in our midst, how dare we call ourselves civilized?
I agree.
So, does this mean you're going to do a story on Mr. Baldwin?
I'll do something for the editorial page.
Good. Although all of this still bothers me gravely, he is, after all, family.
We have to think about the child.
Of course, you're right. We must.
Julie, you home yet? Hello, down there. Okay, mystery woman. Call me when you get home.
Now, what am I gonna do with you? I probably should just kill you. Like all the others. But somehow, you don't deserve it. Damn! If only you hadn't walked into Eve's trap. God, my head aches.
I wish I had some ibuprofen for the attic of yours.
I have some upstairs. All right, no more thinking. I'll figure you out tomorrow.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Putting your pretty little bracelet back on.
No, no, please, please don't. Let me have this tiny bit of freedom. I'm not going anywhere. Let me scratch when I have an itch. You have no idea how irritating that can be.
You want to bet? They had me in a straitjacket once.
then you do know. So what do you say?
We're all right. After all, what can you do with one hand?
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
This is Lisa McCree. Tomorrow, Oprah Winfrey on acting in her new ABC movie. Plus, go behind the scenes of the wonderful world of Disney's Cinderella on tomorrow's Good Morning America.